Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about how you can double your money in the stock market. And we're going to talk about 3 different ways that you can do this. Now the first one is a safer approach and the last one is very risky, but the returns could be huge. Let's take a look. Alright, so let's take a look at the first one, and that is buying and holding the S&P 500. Here's the ETF for the S&P 500, and you can find it by searching for the ticker symbol SPY. So let's say, for example, that 1 year ago you were like, I'm going to invest $1,000 into the S&P. So we look at the chart, and right here I have it set to the 1 year time frame, and you can see that in 1 year you could have gotten a return of 33.52%. Meaning that if you had invested $1,000, in a year, that $1,000 would have grown to $1,335. Now let's go back further, and let's say instead of 1 year, you would have invested 5 years ago. So we look at the time frame of 5 years, and here we see that the S&P grew by 104.93%. So that means that your $1,000 would have grown to $2,049 with 30 cents. So right there, you could have doubled your money. Now, could have, would have, should have, but it didn't if you didn't invest 5 years ago, right? And the reason I emphasize that is because a lot of times we hear all these words about ratios, other financial terms, Bermuda triangles, and it's like, you don't need to know all that. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. It's just my opinion, but, it's my opinion that you don't need to know all that, at least not right now, right? If you're just getting started and are new to investing, the best thing to do is to just get started. So don't let all these things intimidate you into thinking that I need to learn this or I need to learn that, because before you know it, another year is going to go by and you just missed out on more gains. So the lesson for this one is get started. Alright, so moving on to the second way that you can double your money in the stock market, and that is by buying the dip. And when I say dip, I'm talking about a market crash. So we actually had a very recent one, which was in March 2020. So if we look again at the S&P 500, we can see that in March 2020, the S&P dropped from a high of about $337 down to $228, making this a drop of 32%. So this was definitely not a good month, but it did present a really good opportunity to buy more stocks. If we see what happened after the drop and to where it is now, the market recovered and it is now up 84%, up from where it was in that low point in March. Now the problem with this one is that it's not very easy to time the market and find out when the next stock market crash is going to happen. And right now there's even people saying that, there's going to be another stock market crash in the next year, and it could be in the next year, it could be in 2 years, or it could be in 5 years until it actually happens. So it's not really good to just wait on the sidelines for a market crash, because you could end up waiting for a long time. So the best way to play this one is to continue buying in the good times, and when the market does crash, then just buy even more. And now the third way that you can double your money in the stock market is by buying trending stocks. So let's look at an example for this. When the pandemic started, we started to hear a lot about companies working on vaccines. And now it seems very obvious, right? Because we're talking about something that already happened. But part of this is being aware of what's going on and trying to predict what's going to happen next. So one of those things could be that we have a pandemic, so what do we need? Well, we need a cure, and one of those cures could be a vaccine. So there's going to be a lot of companies trying to work on a vaccine. And that's what happened, right? A lot of companies started working on a vaccine. And we can see that from March 2020, there were companies like Moderna that ran up in price, and you could have grown your investment by 10 times. Then there's others like Novavax that had a great run as well, peaking at about $290 per share, which could have given you a gain of 34 times your money. Now that sounds great, right? But you gotta watch out, because the other thing that could also happen is where you see a stock run up, and for example like Novavax, you see it run up and you're like, I'm gonna buy this stock and I'm gonna go all in because it's having a good run and it doesn't look like it's gonna stop anytime soon, right? But the next thing you know, that thing starts dropping and you start going down with it. So you definitely want to watch out with those, because they could be very risky, but if you stay up to date and you stay aware of what's happening, you could find a trend early and you can get in early and get big profits. So there you have it. Those are 3 ways that you can double your money in the stock market. And if there's one thing that I hope you do after watching this video, is to just get started. So literally after watching this video, just take about 10 minutes to open up a brokerage account. And below I have a link to Robinhood and Webull, and if you use that link, you'll get a free stock, and I'll also get a free stock. But even if it's a different brokerage, the point is to just get started. So I hope you liked this video, and in future videos we'll be taking a deeper dive into other topics and strategies that you can use. So if you want to see those, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I hope you found this helpful. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.